Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you are watching this video. I remain your humble host. In our last class, we talked about elements, radicals, and valency. So, and in which we are done with that aspect. Today, we are moving on to a new topic. Now, I told you then that in our next video, we might we might actually do practical whereby we point to some of the apparatus. We'll get to know some apparatus in the chemistry lab. But that will be postponed to it will be postponed to the next video. Today we are moving on to a new topic which is called separation techniques. If you notice that the way we arrange the video, I mean the topic, if you check your textbook, you see that that's the way it is. So I mean for SS1 students. So you have more privilege, or you have privilege to still explore using your material. But believe me, you without material, you're good to go. In as much you are watching this video accordingly. So next up. Today, we said we're going to be talking about separation techniques. So on this particular topic, we are going to make two videos on this topic. So now, in a nutshell, I'll call this separation techniques 1. So because we are going to be making two videos on this topic. Now, when I say separation techniques is separation techniques are methods used in separating two or more mixture. Let me recap. Literally, separation techniques are methods used in separating two or more mixture. The mixture we are talking about might be solute plus solvent to give a solution. And sometimes it might actually be solute against solute. So that's why we do not make specific on it. So you should know that either solute with solute or solute with solvent, or sometimes solvent to solvent. It's still what? Any kind of method you apply to it is referred to as separation techniques. So in a nutshell, literally separation techniques are the methods used in separating two or more mixture. So that's that. Don't forget, if we have two contents mixed together, it's a mixture. If you have two substances mixed together, it's referred to as what? As mixture. Now, let's now talk about the types of separation techniques. We're going to take this one after the other. We have different types of separation techniques. But for this first class, we are going to take only 5 out of these types. The first one. The first one we'll be talking about is sieving. When it says sieving is a technique used in separating two different sizes of a mixture. Or let me put it together. Sieving is a method used in separating mixture of different sizes. Now, let's take an example. Assuming if I have sand plus stone. Sand plus what? Plus stone. This is what I'm talking about. This is what? Solute against what? Solute. Right? So when we have this, it becomes a mixture, right? If we have a mixture of stone and sand together, we can use what? We can use a method called sieving. How is it done? We have something we call sieve. Sieve. This sieve is what we're going to use in carrying out this process. We'll pour our mixture inside the sieve, then we'll sieve it. Whereby you notice that the smaller particles will go inside the container, while the larger particles will stay inside the sieve. So this is the way to go about sieving as a method of separation. Now, the next one. The next one is decantation. When we say decantation, decantation is used. Please, you have to take note of this. There's difference between decantation and filtration. But if you're not careful, you might not be able to distinguish between decantation and filtration. We are still coming to filtration. When I say decantation, decantation is a method used in separating insoluble solid or insoluble substance from solution, or let's say insoluble substance from liquid, anyhow you put it. It is used in separating insoluble solid from liquid. Right. Now let's take for example. Let's assume that we have water. Let's say we have water and we have stone. Water and stone, or stone and water, right? When we mix this together, it will become a mixture. Now, you will notice that the stone is an heavier substance. It's an heavier substance. You can also define decantation as a method used in separating heavier insoluble solids from liquid. You can define it like that too. It's a method used in separating heavier insoluble substance from a liquid. So that you can define it like that too. So now when we have the mixture of water and stone, this becomes what? This becomes a mixture. And we can use what? We can use a separation technique called decantation. How is it being done? We will just what? We will get a container whereby if we have the mixture, we pour the mixture inside the container. Then we leave it for some time and decant it. You will notice that the heavier particles, it will have two layers, right? The upper layer and the lower layer. The lower layer will contain the heavier particles, while the liquid will be on top. So for this now, we can decant it by separating what? By moving water away from the what? From the particles, the heavier particles. So that's that. Now, next up, let's talk about the next type, which is filtration. Now, this is another type, filtration. So when we say filtration, filtration is another type of separation techniques which is used by separating insoluble substance from solution. But in this case, the substance is not as heavier in terms of what? Of decantation. Right? So in this is a method, filtration is a method used in separating insoluble substance from solution or from a solution. So that's that. Now let's take an example of this. Assuming I have chalk dust plus water. Chalk dust plus water. Now, if you look at this now, if this substance is mixed, these two substances is mixed together, they will become what? They will become a mixture. Now, in which you can use this to separate it. How is it being done? There are some things that we use when it comes to practical aspect. There are some things that we use in separating the mixture through what? Through the filtration. We have filter paper. We have we'll be needing beaker, and also we'll be needing funnel. Those are the three things we'll be needing for this particular technique. So, but what will happen is that in our next class, like I said, there will be a time that we'll do practical, whereby we'll expose you to how to go about all these methods, whereby we'll give different practical on these methods we talked about. So now, next up, let me just show you this. As you can see, this is the filter paper. So this is what I said we need. I know you'll be conversant with conical flask. You'll be conversant with either you use conical flask or beaker, or you know everybody know funnel. So for this might actually not be known to you. So this is a filter paper. So how is it going to be done? You fold it, right? You fold it once, then you fold it again and open one part. So whereby the contents will be poured here to what? To filtrate. So that's that. We are still coming back to that. When we're talking about when we are doing practical on it, we surely do that. But for now, just know that filtration is a method used in separating insoluble substance from a solution. So that